Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another podcast with your Zooming Through Education ladies. We're back. I know it's been a hiatus. We've been dealing with practicum. We also started our second semester at school last week. We're going into our final week before Christmas break. So this is our Christmas podcast, right, ladies?
I guess.
We'll see. We'll see how Christmas break, what Christmas break gives us and what time we have to record in the future. So this podcast, we're going to be discussing, our practicums, a little about COVID education. So Sarah and Caitlin, you both had in-class practicums, right?
Yep.
And I had my practicum, virtually. So everything was online, which was very interesting. But before we start our conversation, I'm going to do our check-in. So our check-in question for today is, if your mood was an animal, what would it be and why? I can start us off. I feel like a penguin today, constantly gliding around, and I'm always losing my balance. Feels like I tripped and fell like 15 times today, so it's a penguin for me.
I guess I could go next. So I feel like a sloth today, to the extent that I even missed attending a class just because I was just not feeling it. I've been burnt out after practicum. It was a long 4 weeks, and even coming back with the new semester, it was just a lot of exhaustion, and it was very fast paced. So I feel very tired right now, and I think the sloth encapsulates that.
It's a great animal.
I think I'm a turtle right now. I just kind of want to hide from everything.
I feel
Stress, the cold, snow, slipping on ice. It's not my favorite thing. Yeah, a turtle.
Sarah, do you have a lot of snow where you are?
No, it's just really slippery.
Oh, true. I feel that.
Yeah. It's coming.
It's very
Winter is coming.
It's coming. No.
I know.
I didn't even check the weather for this week. I'm not looking forward for snow. I'm not looking forward. Yeah, for it to snow. There we go.
Yes.
My brain is honestly burnt out. I'm like, you know how I don't know if I asked this question during one of our podcasts, how toasty are you? Or like, how toasted are you?
No.
Right? No?
I don't remember that.
Oh no, I did it in my prac course, didn't I? I feel like I did it here.
Really?
One of my friends who she works in like a psychology department. I don't really know exactly what she does, but she uses the question for like her check-ins. She uses, on a scale of 1 to 5, how toasty do you feel? I feel like I asked that question. Do you guys know?
No.
Do you feel like burnt toast, or do you feel like you just stuck your bread in the toaster, you like turn the knob to like 2 and it came out the same as you put it in? Okay,
maybe
never mind. Clearly losing my mind over here. This is all me. Yeah.
Okay.
Back on track. Clearly my brain has short-circuited. So yeah, we're going to talk about a little bit about our practicums today and kind of what teacher candidates have to deal with when we go on practicum. Maybe deal with isn't the proper term to use, but I like what we do during practicum and what's expected of us, and just kind of navigating, I guess, COVID education, right? Like, obviously we've all done prac before, so we kind of knew what to expect going in, but with COVID, it's a whole new ball game, right? So does anybody want to start off with what we do during our prac? Well, prac block C for us, since we're in second year, or do we want to go from block A?
Maybe we can just say like each prac you're gradually teaching more and it's getting more, I don't really want to say complicated, but you're definitely planning more. Like first one, you might just be doing lessons, and now we're doing unit planning and integrated unit planning. Yeah, just teaching more. You kind of get to know the kids faster too, I found, which is great. Feel more comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt that too. I think I was teaching for most of the day, which I really enjoyed. Because with our second practicum getting cut short, I think this one really helped make up for it in terms of experience. So
yeah, it was really interesting in comparing, I guess, prac block B, just because, like you said, Caitlin, it got so short, and like being in school, it was like night and day in comparison to this placement. But yeah, no, it's block C is a lot, and block C is 4 weeks for those of you who are not a part of the teaching program at Trent. But yeah, it's 4 weeks every single day of the week. And then block D is 6 weeks, right?
yeah.
Okay. So I'm not losing it.
No.
there's something coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess one of the things that we can do during our placements is like paperwork, so-called paperwork. So like Sarah was saying, unit planning is one of the big things, right? Or like having to plan out all those lessons. I know that Caitlin and I are both in the same class, the Catholic Practicum course, and our prac advisor has requested that we send in all of the lessons that we taught with our unit, right? And obviously when you're planning out a unit, this could be something that happens over like months or like a month. You never know, right? So yeah, it's a lot of paperwork to say the least.
A lot of assessment and marking for sure this time around.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All the
I
rubrics.
did a lot of marking.
Yeah.
How did you find the marking in person? Like, did you also have to do it over like your computer, or did you have to do it all like physical? Like, I know that sometimes with in-person teaching, you're not allowed to be like handing stuff out to the students. In some cases, I don't know how it worked with.
So I can go first. For mine, we didn't have a wait time for handing stuff in. I know some schools do. So I kind of did a bit of both. They would hand in their written work and I could do like formative comments on it. It's really easy to do in Google Docs. And then marking certain things, I would just handwrite it. It just really depended on the assignment.
Yeah, me as well. It was a combination of both. For some of the assignments I did, they had to submit it through Google Classroom, so that's where I would give the feedback. But if they were doing something small, like a graph, for example, so I had to teach them about that, that one was physical. So it was a bit of both. It was good though. It did a lot more marking than the second practicum again, because it was cut short. So
yeah. With regards to helping students, how'd you guys find it this time around? Since you're not allowed to like approach, obviously, the students that you're working with.
It's different. It was definitely different. If I was working one-on-one with a student, it was like you had to have the full shield, like face shield on with your mask. But if you were just walking around the classroom and talking quickly, you didn't. So it was just how much time you were going to be spending that close to a student.
Yeah, that was
they can't hear you through the shield sometimes, which is fun.
Yeah, I didn't use the shield. Thankfully I didn't. But yeah, no, when I did speak to students, I obviously maintain a certain distance. I wasn't like completely far away from them, but just enough that we were able to communicate without any problems. But yeah, it was often like me just circulating the room. That was more of the case with me.
Yeah. For me, it was chaotic to say the least. Just because having everything online, I'm pretty much just talking to a black screen. Like I'm not even kidding you. It was just my AT and myself, and we were talking to people. Well, we were talking to students who we didn't know if they were there or not. The Out of the 2 courses that I taught, there was one course that needed a little more help with regards to students, like getting help from like either the EA or from my AT or myself. But I also felt like a lot of the students, you couldn't really see if they needed the help. You know how like when you're in person, you can kind of see if a student's struggling with the work that you're giving them, or if they're like getting bored of it and they're not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
And like in this case, it was, I just have to hope and pray that they're understanding it and that they know that we're here. And it was like communication had to be extremely, extremely, extremely clear. Like there had to be no doubts, no questioning what was expected of them with regards to assignments or so forth. And it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of students didn't come forward to ask for help. I don't know if it was like I don't know, obviously it's nothing to be embarrassed of. Everybody needs help. But we had an EA in my one course, and she had opened up an entirely different Google Meet for some of the students who did want to get help from her with outstanding assignments or the current assignment that we were working on, and no one showed up. So I don't know. It was hard. And obviously you want all of your students to succeed, but like how do you do that with virtual, right? Especially if you don't know what's going on. So yeah, that was the big one. But with regards to that, and like with regards to emotions and all of that, how did the 2 of you feel going into prac, knowing what was going on? Well, like with the circumstances that we're in with COVID and everything.
Well, I was really nervous about it just because I have a weaker immune system than most. So I was very cautious about what I did. It was just for me, I don't know, I think just wearing the mask for a full day was a lot. And that was something I wasn't looking forward to just because, again, like my immune system is very, it's not poor, but it's not as strong as I would like it to be. And obviously with wearing a mask, breathing could be an issue. So there were times where I would have to take a break, not just because like, oh, I had to breathe, but also for my sanity. I felt like wearing a mask for that long was just a lot for me. So
Yeah, wearing the mask was definitely, I got used to it. The one day I drove home singing in the car, and when I got home, I realized I had it on for the like half an hour drive home. That was fun. I was nervous going into it, because when you're living with family, you don't really want to bring that back. But I was very careful. Like I took every protocol very seriously with the hand washing and the hand sanitizing if you couldn't wash every time you left the classroom, entered the classroom, wiping stuff down with alcohol wipes. I was on top of that.
yeah, I had a small bottle of sanitizer with me all the time.
I did too.
And everywhere we went, especially for phys ed classes, I made sure to sanitize every time I would touch a ball. Yeah.
How
so,
hard was phys ed? Like with all of that going
It's
on,
different.
the mask, the face shield, like
Yeah, it was different. At first, we didn't have to wear the mask, but obviously you would have to maintain a certain distance from the kids. But then they, started this whole new rule that kids and teachers had to wear masks during gym class, which was, I felt really bad for the kids because a lot of them were struggling with breathing because they were playing, intense sports.
So you didn't have to
I
wear,
know.
originally, you didn't have to wear the masks during gym class?
No, because I wasn't even with the kids anyways. I was just there on the side watching.
Oh, dang.
So yeah, I took it as an opportunity, to be grateful
A
for not
break.
wearing it. A break, yeah. But then when that whole new rule started, they had to wear it again, and it was it was interesting to see kids play games with masks on, but it's ironic because during recess they don't have to wear it. So like in gym classes they have to, but then during recess when a lot of them break the rules anyways, they don't have it. So that was the irony for my school.
Yeah,
Very
for my
interesting.
school, I know some schools you can't use equipment. It just depends on the school. But for my school, we could use equipment, but if we were playing with balls, every kid had to have their own ball. So volleyball, that was a fun day. Fun day. We played dodgeball. Each kid had their own ball. You'd think it was chaos, but it was fun. Oh yeah.
But then they
Everyone would
use
have to
the
retrieve.
whole-
They would hit. They would throw the ball, and then they'd have to retrieve their own ball. And then if they were hit, they had to go retrieve their ball and sit. Fun times.
Interesting.
I'll take my
But they
virtual
had to
school.
wear masks. They had to wear masks during gym the whole time I was there, unless we were outside.
Interesting. Yeah, I think the most physical activity I did with my class was every Friday, depending on which class it was, we had like a cooking day. So my AT would like whip up a recipe, or he'd find one online and he'd post it the night before. He'd be like, "This is what we're making." And we made morning glory muffins, and then at some point he made banana bread, and then our final Friday together, we made pizza.
That'll look
It's
good.
fun.
I
Oh,
saw
It
your
did look good.
stories.
there you go. The pizza
I mean-
queen over here.
Yeah, I would definitely do that if I were, teaching virtually next time. So
Yeah. Well, it was a great way to, I guess, like cope with the stress of it, just like having something to look forward to at the end of the week, being like, okay, I've done all that I can. Like, this is a fun thing for both like the students and myself, and this is, I guess, something to look forward to, right? Because obviously once you're getting into like the flow of things and like assignment after assignment after assignment, lesson after lesson after lesson, and then it's like I feel bad for these kids that are sitting in front of their computer getting God knows how much screen time and having to deal with all of this. So that was a great, I guess, coping mechanism for all of the stress of prac.
yeah, sounds fun.
Did you ladies have any kind of coping mechanisms, like looking forward to something at the end of the week or so forth?
I did.
Oh,
I read 7 books while I was on prac.
That's good.
where did you find the time?
Weekends. Weekends. A couple weekends I would read like 2 or 3 books.
Oh, that's
depending on the
good.
weekend. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, reading is good. Escapism, not so sure that's great, but that's how I coped.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. I read 2, but not as many books as you did, Sarah. Yeah.
Where are you finding the time for this? Meanwhile, I'm
I
sitting
know.
here trying to like type up all my assignments in time, email them to my AT. Oh yeah, speaking of which, that's what we're supposed to do for those of you that are not TCs. When you're a teacher candidate, you have to provide your lesson plan with like any kind of material that you're going to do at least a day prior to your lesson. So it's always fun, especially when you're trying to figure out the lesson with your AT and your AT's like, "Oh, could you add this?" And you're like, "Yes, sure." Like, crying
do
as you
it.
go. It's like 5 o'clock. You're like, "I gotta hand this in."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, lots of fun, but yeah, I guess it was interesting to say the least in comparison to previous pracs. Like, how did you find if we are comparing it to previous pracs, how did you find your classroom environment changed? Because that's one of the things that we have to talk about, right? When we come back to our prac classes, that's like a big thing that we have to describe.
Yeah. Sarah's face right now.
No, like you can, so fun fact, I had the same AT for a prac last year.
Okay,
and
cool.
same grade. So it was really easy to make comparisons. Like, yeah. So I noticed that a lot of the kids, their attention span is non-existent. They don't want to be at school. They don't want to wear masks. And instead of being able to pick your battles with kids, like going like, hey, that wasn't that big of a deal. I'm going to focus on this. You have to pick you have to do all the battles because it's all COVID related and it's serious. So goofing off now instead of just being silly is pulling the mask off or like nice things that you have to police, like sharing food. I felt horrible. Like they can't share food. You can't sing. There were so many rules that I felt horrible enforcing them, but I'm like, hey, you know the rule. We can't do that right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like that too. I think a lot of the times during my lessons, I would have to stop teaching just so I can tell a student to put his or her mask on, because oftentimes students would take a sip of water and then forget to put their mask back on. And then sometimes they would use as an excuse, well, I'm drinking water and I get thirsty very easily. As a way to avoid wearing a mask. Like, I feel bad, but you have to enforce those rules, right? Because like my classroom was small for a big group. So, you really have to be careful about all of those things. But yeah, that was with me. I'm just thinking back when I had to tell someone to put his mask on. Yeah. I felt bad, but I mean, like
I felt bad too.
Yeah, I felt bad. It's funny because then they look kind of disappointed when they have to put it back on.
They're like, you're supposed to be the cool teacher. Why don't you let me get away with this stuff?
Right? But yeah, it's fine. That was the thing that changed for me. Something that was different from my other pracs is that I used a mic to teach.
Ooh.
I didn't use it all the time. But if there was a lesson that required a lot of me speaking, I would use it. And I used it a lot when I first started because I really wanted to enforce that I was there as a teacher, not just, some sort of assistant or volunteer.
Caitlin's coming in hot.
Yeah, I really needed it to be assertive. So it helped. I mean, I stopped using it towards the end, but it was a great thing to use. Yeah, it was
different. You asserting your dominance in the classroom
with the mic. It wasn't even that loud, but it helped.
No, it's true. Mics do help. I used a mic in my prac B and it was a great experience because I would like awkwardly talk into it, and like if my students weren't paying attention, I'd be like, can you hear me? Like put the mic really close to my mouth. Obviously you can't really do that now, but
yeah, I know it's weird. You have to use a mic, but then the mask is there at the same time.
Yeah. Well, it would make sense though, like miking up with a mask. Because I feel like honestly, it's really hard to hear people with masks. Like, listen, I have nothing against masks. My mom's my mom works in healthcare, so I completely get it. But like, it's hard to hear people who are talking in masks.
Yeah, it really is, especially because my class was very full of big characters. So I had a lot of students who had behavioral issues and would frequently disrupt lessons. So I really needed something to, again, assert my dominance. And yeah, the mic was really helpful. Sometimes like one way I would get their attention was I would start singing with the mic. Yeah, but I would tell them to do something, but I would sing it. No, if I were telling them to stop
It's
talking,
me.
I would sing it. Like, stop.
Hey, it's
I would sing-
me, your girl Caitlin, just trying to get you to pay attention to this
I mean, I
lesson.
should do that next time. I should create a whole album.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
You
Christmas,
should.
Christmas album with Caitlin.
So funny.
My AT had she rewrote the 12 Days of Christmas, but all COVID related. So it was like
wow.
on the first day of no, it was Christmas. On the first day of Christmas, my teacher said to me, and it was like, "Stay in your seat." The second day, and it just went on. It was like hand sanitizer, pull up your mask, stay in your cohort. Very funny.
She needs to drop that EP. I want to
In your
hear it.
cohort.
She does.
So funny. Oh my gosh. I wish I could see that or hear that. That would have been fun.
Oh, that sounds
Good idea, Sarah.
Wasn't my idea. She came in, she's like, "I wrote this last night." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
If any of you need lesson ideas that are listening in, here's your perfect lesson idea if you're teaching music this year, right before Christmas. Week before Christmas break. You can do it. We believe in you.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. That's insane. How did you I remember Caitlin and we spoke with one of our friends, Jessica. Shouting out Jessica right now. And she was explaining to us that during her time at Prac, most of the, I guess, activities that you would consider to take up less time actually took up more time due to like all of the like restrictions and, you know, regulations of like having to sanitize, wash your hands, all of that. And it just kept piling up. So it would actually shorten her teaching time. How'd you ladies find that?
Some days I'd lose like 10 minutes, which when you're teaching a lesson for grade 8 and you have 40 minutes, it's a lot. So yeah, it's a lot of hand sanitizing.
Yeah. No, some of my lessons were cut short too because the kids would eat snack after recess, after the first and last recess, and that's when I would typically teach. So I would have to wait till they were done and after they sanitized or washed their hands before I started. So yeah. So I do agree with Jess about that.
Yeah. Well, the both of you had 8-hour days, right? So it's the typical school day, right?
Mhm.
So I only had 3 hours.
Lucky.
You would think I'm lucky, but in all honesty, it's 3 hours to teach like 4 classes worth of material in one day.
Yeah.
And it was hard. I loved it. It was great because I created a great rapport with the students, those who wanted to talk to me, obviously. But yeah, with regards to time, it's hard.
Mhm.
I know that obviously virtually it's not the same as in person, but the amount of like tech issues that you can have. I remember in the first week, so I had a switch up happen with my ATs. So I was originally supposed to be placed with another person. That person had some stuff going on in their life and they couldn't take me on. So my AT found my new AT, and I was lucky enough to still have Prac. So I have my first AT to thank for that.
Mhm.
But so in my first week of Prac with my original AT, I was using my old laptop, which I used to record on. All of our Zoom podcasts are recorded on it, and to say the least, it wasn't working properly because I might have just spilt an entire can of Arizona all over it. It's on me. Not, like I said, short-circuited. I think the can of Arizona actually spilled into my brain and short-circuited like me as well. but having to like share my screen, I couldn't do it because my laptop would just like turn off, and I would I would not be in the Zoom, like the Google Meet anymore. Or having to explain something to the students if I were to upload something online, and having to like use two computers. So I'd be using like my dad's desktop and then my laptop, but I'd be working off of my dad's desktop. Like it was just chaotic, to say the least. And so definitely at least 15 minutes was spent just trying to figure out tech. But at some point, I think near the end, I was kind of getting used to it. I was like, okay, I have all of my tabs set up for the day. Like I would set them up like straight off at like 8:30 in the morning. So I'm like, this is what I'm sharing. All of my tabs are up there. I don't need to stress. But it was chaotic with tech. I mean,
Yeah.
we saw that with our class with SoCo, actually, how one of our platforms, Blackboard, which is our like main learning platform, went down. And we're all kind of just sitting there waiting, like, what is going on?
Yeah, we were
all messaging each other. Like,
yeah.
did you get in?
No.
It's
And
like,
we'd take pictures of our screens.
Literally, everyone's just like, I'm getting a 503 forbidden website warning, so don't really know what's going on. But
yeah, that was funny. And then we ended up getting in 10 minutes later. Yeah, that was an interesting experience, but that's understandable.
Bless Denise for
yeah,
just being like, just look at the other video. Honestly, thank you, Denise. It means a lot.
It really, does.
Yeah. Back to our conversation on comparing previous pracs to this one. So attire, right? So I know that since I was virtual, I obviously had business on top and then casual bottoms because I never had to get up, except for when I cooked, when you had to see me standing in front of my oven in the kitchen. But I guess in comparison to previous pracs, I've always had to be like very fancy, dressing in my like nice shoes, looking very formal, no jeans. So how'd you ladies find that? Well, like you both had to wear PPE, right? So that put a damper in the nice hairstyles and all of that.
Yeah.
Sarah's
blue
like,
doesn't.
no.
The blue mask doesn't go with anything, man.
No, it does not.
Clashes. Too many color clashes.
Yeah.
I didn't find like the attire any differently. I dress the same that I always. Well, actually, I dress like that most days. I don't know. I have a lot of dresses. I like them.
Oh, we got a fancy Sarah here.
Yeah.
Not really.
Not really, but yeah.
I wear my purple Docs. Like, I don't wear dress shoes. I wear purple Docs, and the kids appreciate it. And I have had in each prac a kid go, "I like your boots," and I'm like, "Yes."
Very nice.
That's funny. Yeah, no, I think I wore the same thing. At first, though, I started wearing boots that were like this high, and then we had gym days.
You're like, no.
Yeah, my teacher taught all the gym for grade 7, so I was in the gym many times, and I was like, hey, I need to stop wearing these boots on these days because that's not gonna help.
Sounds chaotic.
I just remembered I had to bring indoor shoes because elementary school had to bring indoor shoes. So I had to find a pair of sneakers, and honest, it was Converse. I wore Catwoman Converse, but I had to
bring indoor shoes.
Yes,
I did.
For like in the classroom or like in the school itself?
Just in the class.
Every class had to have indoor shoes, so we had to enforce it with the grade 8s this year.
I've never heard of that. I know for like younger grades, obviously like kindergarten or like so forth, but like older grades too?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a thing for me as well, but I didn't have to bring indoor shoes. I just used mine. And
I was one with the students, changing my shoes. Sometimes I taught just in my just in my tights, my little feet, because I didn't have time to switch my shoes. I had to start my lesson. So I was just like skating around in my
Yeah.
Not wearing shoes. It's fine.
I mean, I guess it wasn't snowing as in the area in which I did my placement as much. So I didn't have to wear them. I
Oh,
mean,
so you
It
mean like
snowed a lot where
snow?
I was.
yeah, no, not where I
Okay.
was. So
I
that's
thought you
probably
meant
why.
like on a regular, like you had to have indoor shoes even if it was like beautiful weather outside, no
Oh
snow.
no,
like
once
during...
they decided indoor shoes, I had to bring indoor shoes.
Oh wow,
Oh, okay.
I was fine with it. I brought different pairs. I was like,
that's cool.
today's Catwoman, tomorrow's Harley Quinn.
That's cute. Well, at least,
Sarah's living her
yeah.
best life.
I mean, yeah, comfy shoes over my heeled boots for sure. Yeah, so
I wore slippers the entire time that I
lucky
taught.
you. I mean, when I have a classroom, I would love to have a pair of fuzzy slippers just there in case my feet start to hurt. I'm like, I'm just gonna walk around with these.
Yeah, and then watch admin walk into your room being like, Mrs. F,
Maybe
what
20
are
years later,
those?
20 years into my career, I'll start doing that.
Once you have a fully stable position that no
Yeah,
one can take
permanent.
from you.
Exactly. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Honestly though, if I were to be honest with you, I would do that too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, right? Because I mean, well, if you're in grade 7, 8, probably not in a high school. Or actually, no, I would do it in high school.
I would do it in
I
high
wouldn't
school.
care.
If I didn't have to
Yeah.
move rooms, hell yeah.
Yeah, but if you do, then no. Obviously not.
Everything's going to go off at the same time now because my laptop just decided that, oh, there we go. See? Like I said, my brain's short circuiting and so is everything else.
Oh no.
That's okay.
Okay.
Okay, we're good. Yeah, we're good.
Noticed that. It seemed fine.
No, my laptop wasn't charging and I thought it was because I'd plugged it in, but I guess our power went out because I have what's it called? Oh my goodness, an extension cord. That has like, is it an extension cord? I don't know. It's just one
A
that
power
has
bar?
Yes, power bar. That's what it is. And it's all Wi-Fi run. Sarah saves the day. But it turns off automatically when the power goes out. And they've been building a subway. Well, they're thinking about building a subway extension where I'm living. So the power goes out a lot, to say the least. But yeah, now my laptop is charging, so we're all good.
Good.
What was I going to start with before I ruined our flow of our podcast?
It's okay.
I'm sorry. See, I'm telling you, tech issues, big thing. But I will tell you, actually, I remember now. If you ladies get the chance for next prac, I highly recommend doing virtual. I know that it seems kind of crazy and I know that it's scary, especially since 6 weeks is our longest prac, like block D is going to be our longest prac. But I think having done virtual and seeing the huge difference of like brick and mortar versus virtual, I think it would be a really good asset to have once applying for any position.
No, that makes sense.
Because it literally is, I guess the best way of explaining it is it's like culture shock at first. You're kind of sitting there being like, hi, Mrs. J, nice to meet you. And then it's like you have to try to build a rapport through like the chat box or just talking to yourself. Like it's so weird. It is the weirdest thing, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I highly recommend it. It's a great time.
Okay.
Great time making. Wow, I just scared you off of it, didn't I?
No, I teach already online, so I kind of understand it. I just haven't taught high school, so that will be interesting.
Yeah, I guess it depends. Like with my 2 classes, they were like night and day. One of my classes did not have
Like anyone participating?
Yeah, there was like
Aw.
no participation. There was maybe, I remember we had like what, 30 something kids, and out of all of those kids, maybe 10 showed up to class. And out of those 10, only like 4 or 3 participated.
Oh no.
So there was that. But, you know, I understand some students maybe don't feel comfortable participating. Maybe they didn't choose to take virtual school. They were kind of forced into it. So it's always different too, right? But then my other course, it was like the chat was blowing up. Everyone was having a great time. We were talking about seafood, soup. It was bomb. It was so much fun. I mean, both classes were fun, obviously, but it was like night and day. I'm not even kidding you. I could have a full out conversation on sneaker sizes and everything. And my other course would be like,
nothing.
yeah, I'm trying to make this fun. Yeah.
Okay.
How did you find that your students reacted emotionally towards it? I know that both of you were saying that it was kind of an uphill battle with some students with masks and everything, but did you find that maybe they were like more upset with having to go to school, or just happy to see their friends?
I think it's a mix of both. A lot of them are really happy to see their friends and the opportunity to socialize. And then you could tell, like, we had outdoor learning for a class and it was needed. Like, just getting them outside and doing something. Because it is really draining when you like mask and then they have to remember all the rules. And then you're being reminded of all the rules. It's tiring.
Yeah, I felt that too. The kids were obviously really happy to be with each other after being separated for so long. But what was I gonna say now? Oh, I forgot. I'm trying to think. It's
See, short circuiting me. There you go.
It's a theme in this podcast.
Listen, I think we're all just looking forward to winter break so much that like our brains are just
we're checking out at this
out.
Oh, I do remember. I think wearing the mask for that long made them a little bit more tired than usual, especially towards the end of the day. And because I was with grade 7s, I think you were too, Sarah?
It was grade 8s.
Oh, grade 8, okay. My grade 7s they would get really restless towards the end of the day. So usually we'd save that half hour for something more fun, or maybe like, let's watch a music video. Or do some dancing, like a body break or something. So yeah, I think that was something I noticed with the kids and COVID now. Yeah.
Honestly, I think a big thing with virtual learning was, since everybody, so it wasn't just like you go to the school and if you want to take virtual classes, then you have a class specifically for your school. Like that's not how it works for those of you that don't know. It's like if you're taking a virtual course, you could have students from like all over. Like we had kids that were from Peterborough, from Coburg, like I'm currently in Scarborough and I was teaching from the comfort of my own home. But it was a really hard to teach something. Like one of my courses was grade 10 civics, right? So we're teaching about politics, which should be super simple. But then when we go into like local, like civic issues, like stuff that's going on in your community, it's hard to teach that if you're all living in different communities, right? So like had to look up different sources of information for like news for, I guess we did like Peterborough, we did Kawartha Lakes, we did Durham region, and we did one more. I don't remember. I think it was like Lindsay or something. But it's like having to look up all of that information and just put it into the lesson and be like, here, like I'll show you an example of where I found this civic issue and I'm going to talk about it. But it's like you can't focus on every single like place, right? So leaving them to do their independent work was like a lot. And I feel like that was also very draining too. So that's why I was like, I'm gonna make this activity fun. Like try and find a fun thing that's going on that you can become a part of, or like that you can get involved in.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's chaotic, very chaotic. It was a lot of fun though.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Experiencing all of the interesting things.
I definitely did not do that in my civics class in high school. It was a lot of textbook work, so that's really cool that you bring something like that in the class.
It was a lot.
Your face. You're like,
if you ever
what?
teach civics online, I'll send you all of my lesson plans and material. The best was having to like explain it like 5 times to my kids, because everyone was just like, what do you want from us? And I'm like, I wrote it out. It was honestly, they were great. It was very fun. Yeah. So that's it. That's it. This is the end of our podcast. We're gonna leave you on a happy note. So for closing statements, I wanted to hear about a highlight from both of your pracs that you, I guess, yeah, like a highlight from your prac. That's it. I can start us off. I got to teach my students about credible sources, and I showed them the North American house hippo advertisement.
Yeah.
Play when I was a kid. It was great. And all of my kids made fun of me because they're just like, you believed this? And I'm like, listen, as a child, this was amazing CGI. Okay. You have to understand. And for those of you that have never watched the American House Hippo advertisement,
look it up.
Oh,
look it
life-changing.
Yeah.
And this is the worst thing is I had got my new computer and that was the first thing I looked up on YouTube. So now every single time I type YouTube into the search bar and press enter, it's the first video to come up.
But that's amazing. That's a great way to live.
Yeah.
It's great.
Daily routine.
Highlight.
The
highlight that keeps giving.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so funny. Well, I guess I could talk about a highlight. Well, I did an outsiders unit with my kids. I was really looking forward to that because I wasn't able to do a novel study in my other 2 pracs, so this was interesting. And I'm very happy because I got the kids really into it. And then on my last day, we watched the movie together. So that was really sweet. I know the kids were so sweet about it too. They were like, Miss Fernandez, are you gonna be here when you watch the movie? Like, yes, of course. So that was my highlight for sure. Yeah.
I don't know. I have a lot of highlights. Like some of them are just, I feel a lot more confident managing a classroom because I had a lot of challenging behavior and I took it day by day and I tried new things out and that was great. All my students on the last day have like this, you probably saw it on Instagram, 2 of you. It's like this Christmas like planter and they all wrote messages on the side of it and I cried on the way home. But you know,
that's so sweet.
No, I cried. I read a couple and I was like, okay, I'm tearing up now. But yeah, no, I really liked my class.
Yeah, I really liked my class too. And I do miss them. I was actually supposed to visit them this week, but I'm just so busy that I don't have the time to visit them.
I'm visiting mine on Friday.
I mean, you can do it virtually, okay? It's different when you're in person.
My AT was like, can you come and visit them before the last on the last class on Friday? And I'm like, hell yeah. I can come. I'll go see them. I told them about our podcast too. I was like, yo, we have a Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And any of you that are out there that used to be my students, send you all the love as I play with scissors.
Okay, you can use it to like illuminate a heart.
Literally just. Oh wait, this thing.
No. Do the Disney effect, the wand. Like the
Oh, Mickey Mouse ears.
Yes.
Copyright.
Yeah, you should do that. Yeah, the
Literally.
kids were sweet. Yeah, they gave me a card, but your gift sounds a lot it sounds really wholesome and it looked really nice, Sarah.
Yeah, it's in my living room.
I got a
Aw.
pizza that I made myself.
That's delicious.
It is, yeah. I mean, you made it with them, like
It's made with
Cool.
love.
exactly.
Lots and lots of love. Yeah. Oh my goodness. To be completely honest with you, those of you that are listening in, we don't know when we're going to post the next podcast. We haven't really discussed it.
Yeah.
We don't know. We might take the Christmas break off. Most likely. I'm seeing nod from Caitlin being like, yes, we are.
Yes, please.
I know that it's been a long time waiting for the next episode to come up. And like we said, practicum's a lot. And then getting back into the swing of going, like being a student again is even worse. It's even harder. So we're just gonna take some time. We're gonna spend some time with family this holidays, virtually, or whoever's living in our household, because it is what it is. We got to be happy with what we have. But we wanted to say thank you for for waiting this long.
And thank you if you're still listening.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We know a few of you just like skip to the end. You're just like
loyal listeners. Shout out to them.
AKA probably all three of us and like, family. Our family members. Not even, because my parents don't even watch our podcast.
Yeah, me neither.
Missing out.
But yeah, so we have our social platforms. We obviously have our Spotify. If you want to listen to us on your drive, maybe you're driving back home for the holidays. In that case, social distance and quarantine for 2 weeks. But you can listen to us on Spotify. You can watch our YouTube, which, this video will obviously be up. And we also have our Instagram. Everything is ZoomingThroughEducation. So feel free to give us a follow, a like. You can also comment. Maybe you want to ask us something. Feel free. We're always here to answer any questions. And if we don't have the answer to that question, I'll give you a little teaching advice, okay? You don't know, you say, that's a great question. I will find that out and get right back to you. So that is what we will do, just in case if we don't know what you're asking. Mm-hmm. But thank you so much. It was great talking to you ladies. I know that it has been weird getting back into the swing of podcast making and school. So yeah, wishing you a very happy holiday season from our ZTE girls.
Ew.
Did you just say ew or oh?
No, I'm like ew.
I was like, rude.
No, I was saying ew, like, oh, interesting. Yes, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yes. Bye. See you guys next time.